for months and years, people have been denying that any of this is taking place. They've been denying that Twitter was, censoring right-wing figures. No, nothing like that. You guys just can't follow the rules. Things like that were said time and time again. Now, through the Twitter files, through these dumps, we have it proven time and time again that no, the FBI did come to Twitter. They did come to collude with Twitter. The United States government colluded with Twitter to deplatform Americans, to censor Americans. We even have the bill. We have the bill that it cost. Twitter files, FBI paid company $3.4 million in tax dollars for administrative costs. And,
they showed the receipt. They showed the receipt.
They said, hey, we've collected $3.4 million from the FBI. They were really excited about that. And another way to put it, FBI paid Twitter $3.4 million for doing its dirty work on users, damning email shows. This is all at the same time that we do have this confirmation. People asked on the initial Twitter files on the Hunter Biden laptop, well, nothing there says that the FBI specifically contacted them about Hunter Biden. Okay, well, now we have that. Twitter files show FBI pressured Twitter to censor Hunter Biden stories. They worked directly with Yoel Roth multiple times over a period of months and months. All these emails, all these documents that were sent to convince Yoel Roth that this was a Russian hack story, that this was a fake news story. It was Russian propaganda. Like, we have that now. FBI agent Elvis Chan and other law enforcement agencies repeatedly primed Yoel Roth to dismiss reports of Hunter Biden's laptop as a Russian hack and leak operation, but no intelligence existed of such an operation. You have the FBI working with Twitter to censor a story that could have had a big outcome on the election of the United States president. And now you have the receipt showing that the FBI paid off Twitter for censoring a bunch of users, for doing exactly what they wanted them to do. It doesn't get much more corrupt than that.
Once again, the people that are still somehow trying to talk around this and trying to deny the reality of this situation is absolutely blowing my mind. Some of these people on this left that have completely detached themselves from what is going on planet Earth are literally denying this. And like you said, you're showing the receipts, but here's what's one of the most troubling things I read. It said that the FBI had this information since 2019. So when it's not like there was a sliver of truth to they weren't sure what was on the laptop. They weren't sure if the information was valid. I was kind of giving them the benefit of the doubt in that, where they were like, hey, this isn't verified. Don't let this get out yet because it may not be legit. And I was giving them the benefit of the doubt there. I have friends that have worked for the FBI. I have friends that work for the federal government, and they're good people. But when I found out that they had it since 2019 and they had all the information on the laptop verified and still went to Twitter and said, hey, this might be Russian, to me, that's where you lose it. That's where you lose it. You knew the information was legit. You knew it was not Russian disinformation. And now all the evidence is out there in black and white to show you knew it was authentic. You knew the laptop was real. You knew the emails on it were real. You knew all the communications that were found on the laptop were real. And after that, after having it for months and months and months, you still went to the media outlets and to the social media networks and said, this might be Russian disinformation. Blatant lie. They lied. It was a lie. They knew, and altered the information that was being disseminated to the American people, and subsequently could have shifted an election, a very important election. So I've said this before. I said it on my last video. This is a level of corruption that we probably, Ryan, we haven't seen in our lifetime. However, look at how it's being treated. Now, you know, and I know that if the actors in this story were replaced, and you replaced Donald Trump, we interchanged with Joe Biden, and Donald Trump Jr. with Hunter Biden, where would this story be right now, and what would be happening? If documentation came out from Twitter that Donald Trump somehow was involved in getting the FBI to censor stories about him and his son and corrupt business dealings with foreign countries like Ukraine. Can you imagine what would be happening in the news cycle right now? We probably wouldn't even be on this stream because the bandwidth wouldn't be able to support this stream because they'd be just pushing stories talking about the Donald Trump Jr. laptop. And that would be it. They'd probably be burning Mar-a-Lago down right now. But
look at what they did when there was nothing with Ukraine. Like they tried to impeach him. You know what I mean? They tried to get rid of this guy. They tried to take him down as president because of nothing, because of a nothing burger. That's where we're at. And you're 1,000% correct that if the shoe was on another foot, it would be treated completely different by the media, as we've seen time and time again. And yeah, the FBI had it for 10 months. The FBI knew that it was there. They had it. Whether whether some people didn't take it seriously, whether they were trying to cover it up, a lot of those things, I guess, are yet to be determined. But no doubt that they had no reason to believe that it was Russian disinformation. This was real. And, I think that the Trump campaign strategically held on to it, to release it a little bit before, thinking that just like with nearly everything that happens in elections like this, hey, that'd probably be a good time to release something like that right before the Americans really decide who I'm going to vote for this. And they got their legs cut out from under them by the mainstream media, by the social media networks who are operating with deep state actors. That's who it was. Like, you have people in the deep state that want to prevent Donald Trump from being elected. Some of those on the left, some of those on the right. Obviously, Donald Trump has a lot of enemies everywhere, and they would rather have Joe Biden in power because he can probably be easily controlled and manipulated. And that's just the reality of the situation. And now we're sitting here with the admission from social media companies. Because guess what? It ain't just Twitter. Zuckerberg said on Joe Rogan that he had the FBI come to him and say, hey, there's going to be some Russian operations. And that's why we decided to censor the Hunter Biden thing. So I guarantee you this stuff's going on at Twitter. It's going on at Facebook. It's going on with YouTube. It's going on with everything. Like, that is the reality of this situation. That's why they tried so hard to censor anybody who was talking about it. But you can't roll this back. The mainstream media might refuse to cover it, but enough people are getting the word out that now nobody can not hear about it.
And I feel the true victims here are the American people, Ryan. I mean, the people watching this right now and the people around this great country who love this country and believe in what America can be. They're the true victims here, because now we're at a point, as the release of this information is coming out, where who can sit here and say, I'm just going to believe what the media puts out. I'm going to believe that the government has our best interest in mind and is authentic and genuine. If you're at a point as an American where you can't trust the media because clearly they can get paid for and bought by federal law enforcement agencies, you can't trust federal law enforcement agencies, and you can't trust the people in power because they utilize federal law enforcement agencies to get to power. What can we believe in as Americans? What's real anymore?
Yeah. I think that trust in our institutions is likely at an all-time low. I don't think there's any doubt about that, whether it's election integrity, whether it's things like the FBI, both houses of Congress at this point, everything. And that's not a good place to be. And no, and it's not the American people's fault. It's the government's fault. It is their fault for doing these things. What we have going on with this Hunter Biden story, with this censorship of Americans on social media, this is a million times worse than what Nixon got in trouble for, than Watergate. It's not even close. And this is just the tip of the iceberg when it does come to government corruption. But this is just the first time I think it's been just so out for everybody to see like that.